Even though it's a larger canvas, I still need a magnifying glass to get up close and personal with this Sting Ray. Hi everybody, and a warm welcome back to Maple Leaf Customs in Switzerland. I'm Andrew, and on the bench today is a package that I got from an international seller on eBay some time ago. Yeah, lots of packing. I hope there's something in the bottom of the box. There's what I'm looking for. It's the very recognizable body shell of a 1963 Corvette Sting Ray. I hope I didn't leave anything behind. The eBay listing was written in German, but not native German. It was a bit rough, loosely translated as missing some parts. It didn't say which parts were missing. But the price was right, so I rolled the dice on this one. This is my first crack at it to see exactly how lucky I was. It's obviously all disassembled, and that's everything that I could get out of the box. Let's check it out. It's a 1:43 scale. I knew that. There's some damaged paint on the front. That's too bad, because I really like this metallic blue. Not sure I can replicate that. Two sport seat interior. Checking to see if the seats pop out. They don't. A nice steering wheel and a stick shift. There's the very desirable split rear window. The glass is in good condition. There's a plastic chassis. A little bit of undercarriage detail on it. I'm thinking these are some side runners. I'll have to fiddle around with that, see how it fits together. And there's a second piece of the undercarriage with the exhaust. I'm thinking this is a two-piece front grille assembly. And there's a side mirror that's missing. Looks like that got broken off. I'll have one more look in that box full of paper. I'm going to use this as my entry for the first putty build of my annual summer road trip series, this time with Charles Diecast Garage. We decided together on this Corvette theme, so I'm anxious to see what Charles does. It takes me a couple of minutes of bumbling around with all these pieces to figure out what goes where. There's a few more involved than the regular 1:64 scale Hot Wheels. I think I've got the puzzle pieces together now. There it is with the front grille. Rear bumpers are missing. Obviously, there are no wheels. So I go on a search in my 1:43 scale bin looking for some donor parts. This Cadillac got the longest look at. I got very lucky on Facebook Marketplace and found these from the identical model, and they were waiting for me when I got home from my summer holiday. There were a couple of other cars in the lot, and all the missing pieces I needed for the Sting Ray. The body and the glass were really not reusable, but I got the original wheels, as well as the tail bumpers and that side mirror that was missing from mine. Everything should fit perfectly if it's the same year released model. Score! On Saturdays in July and August, you'll see 3 more of my summer road trip buddy builds, as well as a 4-horseman movie car. So I hope you'll be tuned in for each one of these. I think they're all going to be fun watching for my viewers, and I'm thankful you're one of them. I'm looking through my Kaleido paints catalog and all the different options I have before me for this Corvette. I can't find an exact match for this metallic blue, but I'm going to stick with metallic in one of the silver type shades. That means I'll lay down some black primer. What I've done is roughed up the surface of the Sting Ray. I didn't strip all the paint off. You don't always need to do that. But there were a couple of blemishes that needed attention. And the black covers that up nicely. That's a good base. The nose end of the plastic chassis needs a quick shot too. Here's what I'm going for now. I ended up choosing titanium alloy out of my metallic paints. I'm not going to give it a full saturation spraying here because the black primer underneath serves a purpose in establishing the final shade. I'm using a GHAD 68 airbrush by Gaahleri with a 0.5mm needle. I like this one because it's a trigger action, which is my favorite style of airbrush. Again, making sure the nose of the chassis matches the die-cast body for when it all goes back together. Nice color and a really good finish on this. It's an enduring classic, isn't it? Today's community shoutout goes to my buddy for this build, and that's Charles Diecast Garage, whom I've been following for years now. Check out the link I left in the description and see what his Corvette looks like. One of the reasons why I grabbed this listing on eBay is because it was a Del Prado brand diecast, which I'd never heard of before, but found out they generally deal in 1:43 size, which I like to work with too. The C2 was the second generation Chevy Corvette sports car, produced by General Motors for the 1963 through 1967 model years. Corvette's designers and engineers knew that after 10 years it was time to move on, and this release represented the first total restyling of the Corvette since its inception and brought the first coupe to the brand. The Sting Ray's breakthrough styling was enhanced by a totally new chassis and was particularly distinctive by virtue of its unique split rear window, a styling feature that appeared only in this model year. You either love it or you hate it. Tell me in the comments below where you stand. Notice that the coupe doors are cut into the roof, which made entry and exits easier in such a low-slung closed car. Faux vents were located on the hood and on the coupe's rear pillars too. Functional ones had been intended but were cancelled due to cost considerations. For the 1963 model year, 21,513 units would be built, which was up 50% from the record-setting 1962 version. Car Life magazine bestowed its annual award for engineering excellence on the 63 Sting Ray. The base price was $4,257. Kareem is overseeing the reassembly stage now, with everything prepared. The body has appropriate badges, taillights painted in, and a license plate. windshield wipers were highlighted on the glass. No touch-ups required on this very nice interior. Or on the side runners. I added a little splash of color and a channel logo on this first plastic chassis piece. My replacement wheels, I gave them a little black touch-up, so they're looking spiffy. And there's the second part of the undercarriage, also untouched. Two-piece front grille from my original model. These are the replacement rear bumpers from Facebook Marketplace. One of them is missing one of those little pins, and a very small, even in 1:43 scale, side mirror. So I'm happy I was able to get those. Now I've got all the parts. There's the much sought after split rear window glass. Interior goes in and presses down over those posts. I'm not bothering to glue it because it's pretty snug. Side runners. No glue on the front grille either. It'll be held in place by this first chassis piece. There's a groove for the axles. These are the same size, front and back. Second piece holds them in place. Once I put a couple of replacement screws in. Final pieces of the puzzle are the two rear bumpers. I did put a dab of glue on those. Nice. There's one final central screw. Holds the seat assembly together. And then I added the side mirror off camera with a little bit of super glue. Let's have a closer look. I still wish I could have matched that metallic blue. I was really fond of that. But you know what, a 63 looks good in any color, doesn't it? I'm glad I found the original wheels too. See that round emblem on the trunk? I put a little dab of resin on there to give it a bubble look to it, which is cool. It's a nice roller. That was my disassembled bit of a mess that I started with as I was finding out what was missing. But I really had high hopes for being able to complete it for my buddy build with Charles, which I did in this fashion. That'll always be one of my favorites out of the whole Corvette stable. The 63 C2 split rear window. Tell me what your favorite model is, and we'll let the debate rage on in the comments. Thanks for visiting my channel again today. Be sure to visit Charles Diecast Garage to see his Corvette and come on back here soon. And often. It's coffee time.